And the sites you're building, hang on to them for a while.
Yeah.
We're all, you know, for those who don't know, I'm mentored by One Ed Dale, and so a lot of what I say will be, you know, stuff that's been poured into me. But it's true, and he, you know, goes on ad nauseum about it. Build time. This thing isn't about making a quick buck, because it's not going to last. But if you make sites and just, you know, if you wait long enough and do the right things, you know, a $10 domain turns into a $1,500 website in 6 months,
Which is, I think, what we're finding now. Like, I mean, Ryan's going through and mining out the gold throughout of my entire back catalogue of domain names. And the biggest thing where we're seeing the value is we're talking about domain names that are keyword rich, that are 3 and 4 years old, that have page rank. And this is where the market is shifting now. I think, you know, those early start-up days of Flipper have gone. And one other thing that we've just noticed, I think, like Ryan and I just recently, for anyone who's been following what we've been doing, we just, or Ryan, bidding on my behalf or our behalf now, we got flippingawesome.com, which the premise of that domain name and that particular project with Ian and Amy was all about. How do we take startup websites, get them up and running as quickly as possible, and flip it? And like we've talked about it, and I obviously need to chat with Ian and Amy to find out why, the real sort of backstory as to why it is that they're selling. But our idea is we think the reason they might have got out of the market is because that's the business model that they set up. The market is starting to shift. So we saw the opportunity. We think we got a good buy.
Yeah, definitely. A great buy.
Maybe like talk us through how you bidded on that and how it all worked.
Well, I think it was at the start because did we bid at the? I'm just trying to remember if we bid at the very start or if there were already bids there or not.
I think there was a couple of bids. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There were, because we actually, well, Dave first set a limit and we sort of, you know, sat down and we had a chat about, you know, how we're going to attack it. And I think what was the thing, we'd go in strong once.
Yep.
And then we'd just sort of go maybe $200-300 up then, just not exactly like if someone bid, say, $2,000, wouldn't go 2010. We'd go just enough to let them know we're serious and we want the site, and we managed to get it.
Which, I mean, we ended up winning it on the first bid. Our initial plan, which I think was, we had a look at what the bids were coming at. People, that was all sort of like $10 and $20 bids. And it had frozen up for a good few days.
Yeah,
and then
which is how auctions tend to work.
And then they get reactivated in that final 4 hours. So what we thought we'd do is we came in and it was at, I can't remember off the top of my head, it was something like $700 or something like that.
No, I think the actual
when we bid, and we jumped it up about $600.
Basically, $1,600. It was up 500, I think. So it was 16. Yeah, it was 1,600.
Yeah. So it was at 1,600. We just came in there and put $500 down, basically just saying.
Did you ask what can you PM me the reserve? Did you do that?
Well, we get that all the time. I didn't. So like, it's.
I just have. That's the thing. Once. And it happens in auctions, and it happens to everyone. That bidding war starts at the bottom. You get to about 40% of the price, then it starts. Can you PM me? And you'll see it time. And
how do you handle? Can you PM me the price?
No.
Yeah.
But no, as bluntly as that. I say no, and with a, because I'm a nice guy, but say, look, the whole idea of a reserve price is that it's a reserve price. You don't go to buy a house and say, I want to buy your house, can you tell me what the reserve is? It's just, and that's another thing of the market evolving, because people don't know what something's worth. They don't know what this website I'm buying or the website I'm selling, most people don't know the worth of that site. And we tend to get a bit panicky because that 40% of, when I talk about that, the sort of the bin price you set up to about 40% of the value, there's a lot of that $10, $20 bidding going on, and people get a bit anxious, they want to buy it, so it's like, well, tell me what the reserve is so that I know that I can at least get to there and then relax. And the whole part of the reserve, or my understanding, is that people will fight it out to a reserve, and then when they hit that, you've got what you want for the site as a bare minimum, and then people will continue. And when I don't do that, that's exactly what happens. People will, they'll fight it out, and when they hit that 40%, if someone doesn't come in, which happens a lot, and we're talking about the sort of $500 website, someone will usually always come in and just over the top that hasn't been bidding and just buy it outright, or once it's hit the reserve, the jumps seem to be bigger.
Yeah.
Because people know, well, now I've got,
Now it's
now
on
I've
the
got to win
market.
it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
people are fighting. And that's going back to Lynn's thing, is, you know, she kind of...
Well, I know
started
her
with the reserve, 'cause
was
that-
extremely high.
yeah, but what she's telling with people with that, you know, would it start at 10,000 or whatever?
Yeah.
The bin, that's perceived as the reserve, because that's the bar. So we've got to start with that. And
Yeah.
But I can almost guarantee that if, you know, she did it the other way, the fight starts. But you've also got to be prepared to, you know, sell a $30,000 website for $100. And that's part of
Yeah.
the game. But it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Very rarely there's something of value not sell it.
For the right price.
Yeah,
Well, there's enough
exactly.
of an active market on Flipper that you're
Yeah.
hoping that the market will find that fair price. The other thing, like, I mean, we've got a few people ask, how do you handle bins? Because not only, like, I mean, you get people emailing or sending through a PM saying, hey, what's the reserve? We also get...
Oh, just to finish
What's
before you do
Oh,
that, on the reserve thing, and that's why you shouldn't do it, is you find your comments become a stream of, me too, send me the reserve, can you, and then, yes, P and you and you, and then 3 more. I'm going to cut it out and put it on my blog. I saw one the other day. I think there was close to 15 of these conversations going on. And then, well, you tell everyone. Like, if you've told everyone that asks, you might as well tell everyone as well.
Good.
That's one thing I do got. So where were we at?
Bin.
Buy it now. That's right.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, a lot of the time, what we sort of do, because before working online, I came from a background of working like floor to floor, like on floor sales, that kind of thing, and customer service. So I try and treat it really, really differently. But a lot of mine is about customer retention. So instead of, say, someone posts a private message, they say, "Can you, are you going to consider a buy it now price for this?" We never put a buy it now price until towards the very end. We haven't up until this stage anyway. But generally, it'll be not a case of even though it's against Flipper policies. We won't say no, we're not allowed to do this. It's against Flipper policies. Well, more than likely, it'll be a post from you, and it'll say, just email me. We'll have a chat, and generally, it'll just be a case of there's no idea, or there's no we haven't got an idea to add a buy it now price yet. But the thing with that is you've got an email.
Yeah.
So that's what we always try and aim for. At the end of every auction is to try and get an email.
Yeah, and then as we're getting closer towards the end, like, I mean, we'll say, hey, contact us off Flipper, we'll have a little bit of a discussion, and then usually we'll have their details handy, and the reason we ask them to come off Flipper is so we can get that contact, and then if we do list a bin, which we wait until sort of the last 4 hours of an auction, if we are going to put a bin, it really depends on the activity. If the activity is really, really hot and you go, right, I'm happy with this, we'll pitch that price out a little bit further than what we're comfortable with. But the thing is, if you have a bin early on, it can stop people from bidding.
Yeah.
And the whole point of an auction is to get someone emotionally involved and invested. That's why we started at $1 with no reserve, because we want that bidding war to start, and then that'll push you up, as Ryan said at the start, the most active. Then you get more attention. It's a bit of a snowball, and then before you know it, then you get some serious bids coming.